See episode 7, The Lavender Road. I'm Joe. Please subscribe to our channel. Plenty of other great videos coming up. Hope to have you along for the ride. Okay, we are on to episode 7, the penultimate episode of the season of See. And this episode was almost purely set up for episode 8. We have the family, Margaretless, still believing she's dead. I thought they were going to figure out she wasn't by what Boots said, but they didn't seem to. But I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But anyway, them on their way to the Lavender Road and on their way to the House of Enlightenment, on their way to find Jerlamarel. It's a treacherous road. There's dead bodies along the way. They get attacked along the way. But at the end, the only people who can go through are the twins. That's it. And the twins go through, and Baba Voss, Paris, and Bo have to leave. After he lets them go and, says his tearful goodbyes, Paris is basically like, what are we going to do now? He's just like, I ain't going anywhere. So as you saw as we're through this episode, you can see that Jerlamarel's probably a little lost his mind because it was dead carcasses on the road. They're shooting at him. He doesn't trust what's going on. These kids are the only thing he's ever protected. And it was just a cool moment. He's just like, no. We're staying close. Because clearly there's trouble afoot, as you can tell, and he knows it. So I thought that was such a cool part where he's just like, no, we're staying here. The second part of the episode really dealt with the Kanes and the Queen, the rescue of the Queen, which was pretty cool, and the eventual after the rescue. So their reunion scene was kind of touching in that she doesn't say who she is. She tries to leave, and the Queen's like, don't go anywhere, Margaret. So she knew who she was, and then she unveils the news of how she destroyed the dam, and that leaves us in an interesting place because the Witchfinder, who's been loyal to her, basically says, you killed everybody's families? 20 years I've been leading these men around, and only thing that's kept them going is the thought of going back and seeing their families eventually. And you killed them. How am I going to go back out there and tell them this? And they're going to follow you. To which she's like, they're my men, I'm the Queen. And he's like, well, for the first time in a long time, we have to think that over. We'll see what happens because the Queen is very cunning, as we saw, and we're going to take down our 5 takeaways. But Margaret's in the position to be the Queen and to have this army at her command. So where's this going? I have no clue. Done a really good job of just flipping things around and keeping you off balance. As to far what's going to happen in episode 8, I have no clue. All I know is I can't wait. Alright, let me give you my 5 takeaways from the episode. The Queen's double cross, that was fantastic. You thought she was played when she told the lady who she was, but in reality, she was playing the player. So that was really cool that you revealed that the lady who she told was that she actually got on her side. That was really cool. Not cool from the Queen, was the line about when the Cutter is referring to her exploits and the stories he heard. How he said, is it true I heard that you cut out the tongues of maidens who didn't please you fast enough? The Queen really takes her prayer time seriously, as we've learned. Another takeaway, the General's tough talk. I've heard this line said a lot of times. I've forgotten more than you've learned. I've heard that said about a lot of things, went from an experienced person, but I've never heard I've forgotten more about killing than you've learned. But the tough talk was maybe not quite backed up because he didn't get through the Silk Factory unscathed. So that was kind of cool too. Maybe he slowed down a step. The next point is on Margaret. I thought maybe the family was going to read through what Boots said, which hasn't happened yet. But Margaret's interesting how how her position completely flipped in that her people thought she was dead. And she basically started a brand new life with Baba Voss and her children. And now her children think she's dead and she's back with the Pions. So it kind of actually makes a little bit more sense that they haven't figured it out yet, because it makes more sense for her character arc in that she was dead to one family and alive, but now she's flipped that, being dead to the other family and alive with the family that thought she was dead. So that's where they're going with her. Margaret's a great character. You can see the conflict within her. You can see, you know, that the reluctance to just be the queen, even though it's the right thing to do. And also the, you know, the anguish she felt, as well as the Witchfinder, when we learned that the queen destroyed the Capitol. So that was pretty cool, and Margaret ended up being one of the better characters on the show, if not the best character on the show. And my final takeaway was an overarching theme throughout the episode: is Jerlamarel really a good guy? He left a bunch of dead bodies, and Kofun is like he's gone mad. They're heading to Colonel Kurtz. It was like an Apocalypse Now type of thing, where, you know, he has gone mad, and we'll see what happens there. So it was kind of cool that he kind of sees that his biological father might be a little out there. There was indications about also stuff like, you know, you learned when the Witchfinder said, you know, that Boots is Jerlamarel's child from another woman. You deserve more than that. You know, why does she always talk about Jerlamarel with sadness or anger? So they've played up on that big time, combined with the fact that Baba Voss didn't leave him. He said goodbye to them, but he ain't going anywhere. So they're definitely going to play up on this, what's up with Jerlamarel. Is he really for goodness or is he for badness? Paris even told them, if you're going to build a new world, make sure it's for both sighted and blind. That's going to be interesting to see where we go with Jerlamarel, how evil he is, how twisted he is. I hope you enjoy these reviews. Please subscribe to our channel. Until next time, I'm Joe.